everybody, Coach Craig from Heroes in Training, and today I'd like to take you through a brief overview of controlled articular rotations, or CARS for short. So CARS are the very first step in functional range systems mobility training, and it's the very first thing that I teach every single one of our new members. We learn it on day one because we tend to teach the very most important thing first, and it's the most important simply because it's the first step, and it's really the first step regardless of what your training goal is. So let's kind of get into it a little bit. So CARS takes about an hour for me to teach. It only requires about less than 15 minutes a day to do. It requires absolutely no equipment, so it's perfect to do at home. You can do CARS at work, you can take it on the road when you travel, you can even do CARS in your car. It has many benefits, including maintaining joint range of motion. So that old adage, whatever you don't use, you lose. So whatever you still have, we want you to use. It protects your articular health and longevity. So it's often compared to like it's brushing your teeth for your joints. It really, one of the most important functions is it serves as a form of articular screening. So one thing that I really love about the Functional Range Systems program is that it actually teaches the members how to assess their own body and to start to pay attention to your own body. So as far as learning your own body, it's just a really valuable tool. And finally, it's even an integral part of joint rehabilitation. So getting your joints moving as soon as you can in a pain-free range of motion after an injury is super important to laying down tissue in the right way, and we'll get into that a little bit later. In other words, to quote Dr. Spina, who is the creator of functional range systems and all this stuff, make your stuff work nice. So make your joints work the way that they were designed to work before we put them under a ton of stress and strain in the gym doing exercises. So in this video, I want to teach you the key principles of CARS, and then we'll get into the fun stuff and teach you how to heal yourself and to move better than you ever dreamt possible. You all ready to go? All right, let's get going. So the first thing I want to talk about is your focus. So when you do daily CARS routine, I need you to be present inside of your body and feel your way around these simple yet powerful exercises. So you should try to feel everything that's happening to you. So try not to be thinking about work or what practices you have to get the kids to, or if you have to pick up the dry cleaning. This time that we do our CARS in the morning, and we should do this every single day, is devoted strictly to you and to your body. So when we get in there, let's focus. Next, we need you to remember to breathe the entire time you do CARS. The most common mistake that new people make is to hold their breath, especially through the most important sticky spots. So again, we require your presence inside of your body as you do the CARS routine. What are sticky spots? So sticky spots are ranges of motion that we just don't move with, either because we haven't used them or we haven't been practicing, or maybe we have a former injury. But the tendency there is to hold your breath when the going gets really tough. So try to breathe nasally in and out of your nose. If it's really difficult for you to breathe out of your nose, breathe in your nose and out of your mouth. And we also want to breathe diaphragmatically, so breathing into the tummy region rather than breathing up into the chest. Finally, we have to be aware of any pinch points. So take my neck, for example. When I stretch this way or when I move my neck this way, the tissue on the opening side of the joint should be what eventually stops me. If I feel a pinch on the closing side of the joint, it's an indication that something in that joint is not functioning properly. So if you feel a pinch point in any joint, not just your neck, it could be anywhere. So on the closing side and not the tissue that's elongating, there's three things that you should do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to shorten our circle to not feel the pinchy point. So for example, if I'm doing my neck and going really far over here, causes a pinch on this side, I'm just going to shorten that circle and still do my CARS without feeling that pinch. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to do more CARS. We're just going to make sure that we do them in a pain-free range of motion. So what I don't want you to do is a lot of repetitions banging into that pinch point. Again, pinch points are an indication that something is not really going right, and that leads us to our final thing. You should tell your coach. So your coach will be able to refer you to a functional release therapist who will be able to diagnose and properly treat whatever's going on in that joint. If you're watching this online and you need a referral, just email me, craig@hitpittsburgh.com. That's HIT, the word Pittsburgh.com, and I'll be happy to get you to a functional release specialist. Okay, now on to the fun stuff. Force is the language of cells. Force is the way that our body determines how to lay down new tissues, and we're going to use this to our advantage in a couple different ways. First, when we do our cars, we will do so under a full body irradiation. This means we will create deliberate tension in all of our muscles except for the joint that we're moving. And to make this easier, I want you to remember the last time you attempted to open a stuck jar of spaghetti sauce. If the jar opens easily, like this one that I have right here, I don't need much force at all. I can do this just with like the muscles in my fingers and maybe a little bit into my wrist. But if I go in and I have a sticky jar, like this one that I conveniently glued the lid shut on, your body naturally begins to recruit the rest of your body so that you can deliver more force to the muscles that you're using to get the stuck jar open. This is just radiation in action, and you do it instinctively. So the minute I feel that I can't just do it with my hand and my wrist, I start to engage all of my other muscles so that I can deliver more force. Just like you use more force to be more productive in getting the jar open, we're going to use force and irradiation to be more productive doing our cars. We also want to move the joint under tension. For example, if I were to move my shoulder freely, this would be moving at a tension level near zero, so no resistance whatsoever. But remember, force is the language of cells, and the more force we deliver, the stronger and clearer the signal and the message that we're sending to that tissue to adapt. So to illustrate this, give yourself just a little resistance. Say like, just hold your one hand here and try to raise this arm, about 35% of what you can do. So you feel the tension that you automatically feel in the joint when you're trying to move. So what I want you to do is 35% tension, but allow it to move. Now, what we're going to do, let's just take that arm away, but keep that resistance. Keep that tension. Pretend the arm is moving through air that is 35% thicker than it actually is. That will, again, up the force delivered to the joint and create better and faster adaptation. Okay, so now you should have all the information that you need to do cars. In the next video, we're going to cover how to do cars on every single joint in your body, starting with your head and going the whole way down to your toes. Before we do, I just want to reiterate those 4 key points and add one more thing. So first, let's look at those 4 key points. First, be present. Make sure that you pay attention when you're doing your cars. Try not to zone out and think about other things going on. When we do our cars, our body is telling us things. We just have to make sure that we're listening. Second point is to breathe. We want to breathe nasal and diaphragmatic. So nasal means to breathe in and out of the nose. If that's too difficult, try in your nose and out of your mouth. Try really hard not to breathe in your mouth. Number 3, we want to watch out for those pinch points. Again, if I stretch my neck this way or if my hip comes up this way, I should not feel this stuff on the inside stopping me. So if I feel a pinch point in that closing angle side of the joint, we're going to do a few things. 1, we're going to shorten our circle to avoid the painful area. Do not continuously do cars into painful range of motion. Number 2, we're going to do a lot more cars in that shortened range of motion. Doing them in a limited range of motion will oftentimes help out. Number 3, we're going to tell our coach and get a referral to see a functional range release specialist. Finally, I want you to remember that force is our friend. So we're going to use force in 2 ways. We're going to use that full body irradiation to deliver more force to the joint. We're going to move the joint under tension, again, to deliver more force to the joint. More force means louder signal, means quicker adaptations, which is something that we all want. Okay, one more thing I want to add before we get to our cars. Once you start doing cars, do them every single day. They only take 12 to 15 minutes in the morning. The benefits are immeasurable for your body. So once you do them, there's a saying in FRS, we say every damn day. Do your cars every damn day. You wouldn't go a day without brushing your teeth. You shouldn't go a day without doing your cars either. Really excited to teach you in the next video. Let's go.